This video presents select operating and safety procedures for Vermeer brush chippers. The components and controls on your machine may look different from those in this video. However, most operating functions are similar. Your Vermeer brush chipper is equipped with useful safety features to help protect you from serious injury. However, safe work practices are also necessary for accident prevention. Improper use of the machine could result in death or serious injury. For your safety and the safety of others, always use caution and good judgment. This video is a supplement to the machine's manuals and does not contain all the instructions needed to properly operate your machine. Before operating, all operators must thoroughly read and understand the operator's and maintenance manuals, safety instructions, and safety signs on the machine. Vermeer supplies every machine with two operators' manuals. One is in the resource library shipped with your machine. The other is in the black storage box on the machine, so it is always close to the operator. While watching this video, stop and review the information at any time and consult your operator's manual to reinforce what you've learned. Allow only responsible, properly trained people to operate a brush chipper. Learn the controls, operation, and use of the machine under the supervision of a trained and experienced operator. All operators must be familiar with job site rules and regulations and must be mentally and physically capable of safely operating the machine. Before going over personal protective equipment, or PPE, remember, remove jewelry such as rings, watches, necklaces, or bracelets. Wear close-fitting clothes and confine long hair. All crew members on the job site must wear the following PPE: safety shoes, wraparound safety glasses or goggles, a hard hat, and hearing protection. Contact your local environmental specialist to determine the required level of hearing protection for your job site. If working near traffic, wear reflective clothing. If you wear gloves, make sure they have narrow cuffs. Gloves with wide flared cuffs are more likely to be snagged by a branch and possibly pull you toward the infeed mechanism or the chipper knives. When operating with a remote control, personal protective equipment requirements are the same as when you operate at the machine controls. Consult your operator's manual for further details and any personal protective equipment requirements that might be specific to your machine. Before walking you through operation, we'll go over machine controls and functions, starting with the cutter drum, feed rollers, the hold to run reset button, discharge chute, and optional winch operation. The cutter drum clutch lever engages and disengages the cutter drum. Vermeer brush chippers have feed control bars and feed stop bars. Feed stop bars have one function: to quickly stop the feed rollers. Current production Vermeer chippers have a lower feed stop bar along the bottom of the infeed table. Models with fixed feed tables also have an upper feed stop bar above the infeed. An operator can activate either stop bar, shutting off the feed rollers in an emergency. Checking that this system is in good working order is important for your safety. We'll walk through that process when we talk about preparing the machine. Some machines are also equipped with a feed roller speed control lever to increase or decrease the feed roller speed. The hold to run reset button, located on both sides of the feed table, serves two functions. If the control bar is in forward feed and a stop bar is activated, pressing the button will reset or resume forward feed. When using the hold to run function, such as when attempting to feed difficult material, the forward feed operates for as long as you hold the button for up to 30 seconds. The chute controls allow you to direct discharging chips. Depending on the machine model, these controls may be manual or hydraulic, but both accomplish the same function. If using the optional winch, operational controls consist of the feed control bar, the retract and extend lever, the engage and disengage winch lever, the winch pin, and the winch interlock hook. Now, let's move over to the main control panel, which consists of the following: the ignition switch, throttle buttons, lower feed stop bar sensitivity button, smart feed button, eco idle engine control system delay button, 2 indicator lights, and the menu and navigation buttons. The ignition switch will preheat, start, and stop the engine. The throttle up and throttle down buttons increase and decrease engine speed. The lower feed stop bar sensitivity setting determines the distance the bar must be pushed to stop the feed rollers. The in-feed warning light indicates the sensitivity setting. Off indicates normal sensitivity. Solid on indicates reduced sensitivity. Flashing indicates that the safety system has been activated. On some machines, the Smart Feed system adjusts engine droop automatically. If equipped with adjustable Smart Feed, the Smart Feed button changes the engine droop settings to low, medium, or high. The Eco Idle System delay function changes when the machine automatically drops engine speed and allows you to cycle through off, 1-minute, and 5-minute settings. The main control panel also has 2 indicator lights, a red engine shutdown light that indicates when the ignition switch is on and an engine shutdown fault is detected, and an amber engine indicator light that signals the presence of an engine diagnostic code. The menu button lets you view the menu, engine information, or main screen on the controller display. Use the return, enter, and scroll buttons to navigate the menu and subscreens. The main screen on the controller display shows the system operational status and machine functions. See your operator's manual for the list of graphic descriptions and settings. From the main menu screen, you can access the following options: system settings, diagnostics, faults, machine information, and after treatment. See your operator's manual for more information on these options. Vermeer equips some brush chippers with an optional remote control. Options include either a Tree Commander remote control or Deluxe remote control. For the purposes of this video, we will demonstrate remote control functions using the Deluxe remote control. If equipped, the remote control selector switches located on both sides of the feed table will select remote control mode. The normal operating range is within 100 feet of the machine. Verify the range before you operate and always maintain full view of the in-feed. The Deluxe remote control includes an LCD display, battery pack, and the following buttons: on/off, menu select, engine stop, hydraulic chute deflector, menu up, menu down, hydraulic chute rotation, throttle, enter or select, crush, and feed roller stop, reverse, forward, and reset. See your operator's manual for information about the remote control storage location, registration, access code, controls operation, charging, and other remote control functions. What follows is an overview of the startup and shutdown procedures common to most Vermeer brush chippers. Always follow the procedures specific to your machine as outlined in your operator's manual. Make sure all personnel are away from the machine and work area before starting the machine. Before starting the engine, verify that the clutch lever is in the disengaged position. Verify that the feed control bar is in the stop position. Turn the ignition key to the on position. If the machine is equipped with a wait to start indicator icon, it will go out to indicate that the engine is ready to start. Allow the engine to warm up for 3 to 5 minutes before engaging the clutch lever. Now that we've covered startup, let's go over the shutdown procedure. To shut down the machine, move the feed control bar to the stop position to stop the feed rollers. Reduce the engine speed to low idle. Wait for the cutter disc or drum to slow. The red and white indicator sticker will show when the cutter disc or drum has stopped. Move the clutch lever to the disengaged position. Turn the ignition key to the off position. Remove the key and wait for the cutter drum and belt to stop. Close and latch the feed table. If needed for performing maintenance or service, the feed table can be left open. To quickly stop the machine using the machine control panel, shut off the engine and remove the key. Wait for the cutter drum and belt to stop. Fully disengage the cutter drum. To quickly stop the machine using the remote control, press the engine stop button. At this point, the engine will come to a stop. Turn the ignition key to the off position and remove the key. Wait for the cutter drum and belt to stop. Then, fully disengage the cutter drum. Failure to use the shutdown procedure can result in unexpected hazards. Death or serious injury could result due to entanglement, crushing, cutting, or other hazardous contact. Follow the shutdown procedure after operating, before performing any service or maintenance, and before transporting. Before transporting a brush chipper, refer to your operator's manual for important safety precautions and attachment information for your specific model. Verify that the hitch is securely attached. Check that the safety chains are properly crossed under the tongue, not twisted, and are the correct length. Make sure the electrical connector is attached to the towing vehicle and the highway lights and brakes function properly. If equipped with optional electric brakes, verify that the breakaway cable is attached. When transporting, always use good judgment and obey all applicable laws governing road use. When you arrive at the job site, before positioning the machine, survey the work area for persons or obstacles. Never set up the brush chipper beneath a tree being pruned or removed, including any area where branches may fall or where throw lines, rigging lines, and climbing ropes will be used. Manage lines, ropes, and other tools so they cannot become entangled in the brush pile. Clear away any brush or obstacles that might interfere with operation, present stumbling hazards, or become entangled while feeding brush. Set up the machine in an area free of obstructions that could interfere with safe movement, and verify that the feed table is a minimum of 24 inches above the ground. Keep all spectators and non-operating personnel away from the machine and work area. If operating along a road, properly warn and divert motor vehicle and pedestrian traffic. Use all necessary signs, traffic cones, and flag persons needed for the work situation, and feed material into the brush chipper from the curb side of the unit in order to stay away from traffic. Always check the machine before you operate. The machine must be in good operating condition with all safety equipment installed. See your operators, maintenance, and parts manuals for machine inspections, recommended intervals, and procedures. Adjust the chute and deflector to discharge chipped material in the desired direction. If equipped with a lock, secure the chute in position. The discharge chute is equipped with a stop to help prevent discharging material over the feed table area. Keep everyone away from the discharge area while the cutter drum is turning. Direct the discharge chute away from people. Thrown objects can blind you. Wear eye protection. Your machine is equipped with a feed table that increases the distances between you and the feed rollers. For machines with a fold-down feed table, unlatch and lower the feed table before operating. Never operate the machine with the feed table removed or modified. Next, make sure the feed control bar and feed stop bars are working properly. To check the feed control bar, position it for forward feeding and start the feed rollers with the Hold to Run reset button. Push the bar to the center stop position, into reverse, and back to forward, verifying the feed rollers operate as designed. To check the upper feed stop bar, put the machine into forward feed, then pull the bar to the rear stop position. Verify the feed rollers come to a stop. To check the lower feed stop bar, put the machine in forward feed and start the feed rollers. With your body behind the side of the feed table, bump the lower feed stop bar and verify that the feed rollers stop. Do not operate the brush chipper unless the control and stop bars are installed and operating properly. If equipped with outriggers, they can be utilized to further stabilize the chipper. Keep feet clear when lowering outriggers. Lowering outriggers may crush, resulting in serious injury. Consult your manual for further details on outrigger operation. After preparing the machine and work area, you are ready to begin operating. There are 3 ways to feed the chipper: manually, by machine, or with an optional winch. No matter what method of feeding you choose, always check the material being chipped. Remove stones, wire, or other objects which may damage the knives and become dangerous projectiles. Again, keep all throw lines, rigging lines, and climbing ropes away from the chipper and brush pile. When you are ready to start feeding, follow the startup procedure as instructed in your operator's manual. First, we'll discuss hand feeding. Before you start, if equipped with a remote control, verify it is off and stored in the appropriate location. To start hand feeding brush, place the feed control bar in the forward feed position and, if needed, press the hold to run reset button momentarily to start forward feeding. Always feed the base of the limb or branch first. Feed material only from the side of the feed table rather than directly behind the chipper. To reduce the possibility of being injured, release the limb immediately after it begins to feed and then turn and walk away. Limbs may suddenly turn or move sideways and may pinch or strike you. Use the normal sensitivity setting whenever job site conditions permit. If material frequently strikes the lower stop bar, you may temporarily reduce sensitivity, resuming normal sensitivity as soon as conditions permit. When hand feeding short material, remember limbs can snag clothing and pull you in before you can get free. Use a wooden object to push short material. Also, keep away from the rotating feed rollers and blades. Never climb onto the feed table. Now that we've covered hand feeding material, let's discuss machine feeding. Before getting started, note that you can make room for machine feeding if your chipper is equipped with a rotating or removable winch. If removing, use an appropriate lifting device. If rotating, follow your manual's instructions regarding securing the winch line. To begin machine feeding, follow the startup procedure and engage forward feed. When machine feeding trees or branches, always feed the base of the limb or branch first. Release the limb immediately after it begins to feed, then turn and move away. While an operator can control the chipper at the panel when machine feeding, remote operation is also common. Let's take a look at some of the safety features associated with using the remote control. First, the amber beacon on the back of the machine indicates when the machine is remotely controlled. Remember, do not hand feed or allow anyone else to hand feed material when the beacon is on. When remotely controlled, feed rollers may start, stop, or reverse anytime the amber beacon is on. Death or serious injury is possible. Never start or restart the in-feed rollers without first looking into the in-feed area to verify all other people are clear. If the beacon fails to operate when the remote control is selected, there is a fail-safe in the machine controller which will not allow remote operation. Also, be aware that if forward feed is disengaged for over 3 seconds, an alert horn will sound when forward feed is engaged again by remote. When you finish remote control operation, always shut off the remote and place it in the storage compartment. Next, you'll get a look at feeding material using a winch. Never operate the winch with the brush chipper detached from the towing vehicle. The load may move the brush chipper or pull the tongue off of support blocking. Only use a winch line and chain choker approved by Vermeer Corporation. Never substitute any other type of choker. You must adhere to the following safety messages. Failure to do so can result in death or serious injury. Never put the winch line loop over your arm or hand. The winch line can pull you into the machine at a high speed. Keep the choker and winch line separate when pulling out the line. If the line is grabbed by the chipper knives, it can pull the chain choker at high speed and strike anyone in its path. Never permanently attach a choker to the winch line. If a choker is pulled into the machine, metal could be ejected from the in-feed chute at high speed. Along with the danger to operators, this can also damage the machine. Never pull out the winch line while material is feeding. Material can snag the winch line, potentially pulling the line and the operator with it. Stay clear when winching. The winch line can break or release. Now, let's walk through proper winch feeding operation. To begin winch operation, remove the winch rope from the interlock hook. Securely attach the chain choker around the large end of the limb. Pass the end of the chain through the ring and pull the choker tight. Attach the loop of the winch line to the end of the chain choker and place both on the ground. With all crew clear of the material and the winch line, use the winch controls to pull the material toward the machine until the limb can be lowered onto the feed table. Once the limb is lowered onto the feed table, you may need to reposition the chain. Extend the winch line out until the chain choker becomes slack and the line can be removed. Stabilize the limb on the feed table, then remove the winch line. An unstable limb may fall off the feed table. Serious injury may occur if struck. Reposition the choker near the back of the limb and reattach the winch line. Pull the limb into the chipper until it engages with the feed rollers and stop winching. Remove the winch line from the choker and the choker from the limb. Store the winch line in its interlock storage location. Keep the choker away from any material being fed and follow normal operating procedures to feed the remainder of the limb through the chipper. To order replacement parts, see your parts manual and contact your independent authorized Vermeer dealer. If the winch line loop becomes damaged and is repaired by a qualified rigger, maintain the original loop size. If the feed rollers become stalled or jammed while operating, use the feed control bar or remote to reverse the material. Inspect the material, then reposition it and feed again. If the material continues to present feeding issues, follow the complete shutdown procedure as instructed in your operator's manual. Trim the material before refeeding. If the discharge chute or chipper housing is plugged, you will need to completely shut down the machine to clear the obstruction. Do not try to remove a plug while the engine is running. Do not open the chipper housing to check for rotation. Depending on the chipper, check either the end of the shaft, drive belts, or disc to make certain that rotation has stopped. Never start the engine or operate the machine with the cutter drum housing open. Material leaving the open discharge chute will be ejected at high speed, causing possible injury and blindness. See your operator's manual for the proper way to gain access to a plugged discharge chute or chipper housing. Wear gloves when cleaning out the plugged area, and use caution when working near the exposed chipper knives. If a plug occurs in the disc or drum area, inspect the integrity of knives before restarting the machine. Thoroughly clean the plugged area before closing the housing. See your operator's manual for inspection information. For safe operation and performance, inspect and maintain the chipper knives, drum, or disc according to the instructions in your operator's and maintenance manuals. Vermeer supplies every new brush chipper with an operator's manual that provides important performance and safety information. If needed, contact Vermeer to order replacement manuals. If you suspect something is wrong with the machine, stop use and contact your independent authorized Vermeer dealer. Do not take chances with your safety by continuing to use a machine that needs maintenance or repair. Safe work practices are an important part of accident prevention. Do your part in following these procedures for your safety and the safety of others.